Welcome to our Bedtime Stories channel. Tonight's story will take you on a gentle journey into sweet dreams.
The story is called The Night Train to Dream Meadow. It's about a little girl who takes a magical night train to the land of dreams. The village slept beneath a silver moon. In a small blue house at the edge of the lane, a child named Mia lay awake, listening to the quiet. The clock ticked like a tiny footstep. The curtains breathed in and out with the gentle night breeze. Mia held her pillow and whispered, "I wish I could visit the place where dreams are born." As if the night had been waiting, a sound rolled across the rooftops, kind and low. It was the hum of a distant train. Not the daytime train that rattled and hurried, but a hush train wrapped in velvet dark. The sound curved around Mia's window and invited her to listen closer. It felt the way warm cocoa feels in winter, safe and sweet and slow. Mia sat up. Outside, the garden glimmered. Fireflies drifted like lazy stars. The wind carried the scent of warm grass and milk tea. Then, with the softest sigh, a silver track appeared along the moonlit hedge, bending toward the sky. It grew like a bright vine, rail by rail, until it reached the clouds and rested there, sure of itself and calm. At the end of the garden, a little station unfolded, no larger than a picnic blanket. It had a roof made of slate blue leaves, and a tiny bench that looked like a folded napkin. The sign read, "Dream Meadow Line." The letters shone like quiet rain. A small bell chimed once, twice, as if it knew Mia's name and was happy to say it out loud. Calm. Mia slipped on her slippers and tiptoed outside. The grass was cool and kind to her feet. She heard the train before she saw it. A round, friendly engine with a face made of light and eyes like reflected stars. Its cars were smooth and clean, painted the color of calm waves. The platform smelled faintly of vanilla and fresh pages in a new book. "Good evening," said the engine in a voice like a lullaby. "Ticket to Dream Meadow." It puffed a soft halo of steam that drifted up like a white feather. Mia nodded, and the nod felt brave and small and right. The engine opened a door that felt both new and familiar, like turning a page in a favorite story saved for bedtime. Mia climbed aboard, and the door whispered closed behind her. Inside, the air was warm with a sleepy glow. The lights were low and golden, like jars of honey on a shelf. Somewhere, a tiny clock ticked a slow, friendly beat. A basket of soft blankets waited near the aisle. "Welcome, traveler," said a voice from deeper in the car, and the hushed train breathed, long and even, as if it were already singing her to rest. Mia sat still and let the sound of the breath settle around her, like a second blanket. She did not feel rushed. She did not feel lost. She felt held. The seats were wide and gentle, like big soft shells by the sea. A window stretched the length of the car, and the night leaned in to say hello. Mia sat by the glass. Outside, the garden looked smaller now, like a picture in a frame, while the silver track rose into the quiet sky. An attendant rolled by with a tray of warm milk and honey biscuits. "Good evening, traveler," they said with a smile that made Mia's shoulders relax. "First time to Dream Meadow." Mia nodded and took a small sip. The milk tasted like mornings and safety. The biscuit crumbled into tiny clouds that melted on her tongue. A soft napkin waited on her lap like a small white boat. The train began to move, not with a jerk, but like a slow breath. It glided up through the pearly air, past sleepy chimneys and over silver roofs. The moon walked beside them, steady and kind. Mia placed her palm on the glass. Her own reflection blinked back, brave and calm, and seemed to nod in time with the wheels. They passed a nest of night birds who hummed a low melody. They crossed a ribbon of fog that folded and unfolded like a blanket. Every sound was hushed, the wheels singing around. Steady song, hush, 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 hush. Mia felt the day loosen and drift away, like a boat untying from shore. Worries folded themselves and rested like mittens on a shelf. Across the aisle sat a small fox with a neat scarf. He looked shy but curious. "Going far?" Mia asked softly. "To the meadow," the fox said, "to bring back a pocket of quiet for my little brother. He cannot fall asleep without it yet." His voice was careful, as if it was carrying a candle in the dark. Mia smiled and nodded, and the train kept breathing its gentle song. The attendant came back and placed a tiny card on their table. "If you wish," it read, "you may write a hope on this card and keep it in your pocket. Hopes like to ride with passengers." Mia took the pencil and wrote, "I want to carry calm home." The fox wrote, "My brother will rest." They traded a quick look, the kind that says we understand the same small thing. Outside, the track turned and rose and turned again, winding like a silver path drawn by a quiet hand. A sleepy star drifted close to the window and winked. The moon tipped its hat. Mia let her head lean to the side. Her breath matched the train. She thought of her mother tucking her in, of the smell of clean sheets, of the sound of rain on a Sunday. The thoughts stacked gently, one on another, like pillows building a nest, and the nest welcomed her. Outside, the sky changed from black to deep blue, then to a color with no name, soft as the inside of a shell. The engine dimmed the lights to a sleepy glow. Stars slipped by slowly, like lanterns in a careful parade. Mia rested her cheek on her sleeve and watched silence grow thick and kind. They glided through the cloud orchard, where balloons grew on silver branches. Each balloon held a small dream, swaying lightly. The attendant pointed with a gentle hand. "See how the dreams wait their turn. We pick the ripest ones and carry them to the meadow to plant." Mia saw dreams shaped like kites, boats, and tiny gardens. One looked like a library with warm lamps. Another looked like a blue door with a key on a red string. A little one looked like a hand being held, and it made Mia's chest feel warm. The fox pressed his nose to the glass. "May I bring a balloon home?" The attendant shook their head kindly. "Dreams must be shared before they can be kept. We will visit the seed grove, and you may gather what you need there." The fox sat taller, hopeful, and bright. The train slowed as a bridge appeared, woven from moonlight. Beneath it, the night river moved without a sound, wide and silver, carrying the reflections of houses where children slept. The engine hummed a little tune, and the bridge answered with a soft chord that wrapped the car like a blanket. Mia's eyes felt heavy in the best way, like stones resting at the bottom of a clear pond. They rolled past chimneys that breathed tiny puffs of lavender steam. They passed a hill where gentle sheep dreamed of sunlit grass. A clock in a far town rang a friendly number and then relaxed again. There was no hurry anywhere. Even time was walking in slippers. Mia thought of her bed, neat and waiting. She pictured her mother's hand smoothing the sheet. Then she pictured a field of tall grass, moving like the sea. A quiet thought opened in her chest. Light and warm, maybe Dream Meadow was real because someone needed it to be. The idea sat beside her like a good friend who did not need to talk, only to be there, steady and sure. The more she breathed, the more the idea glowed, and the train rose toward it, patient as dawn. Outside the window, a slow snow of petals drifted from the cloud orchard and brushed the glass, then vanished. Mia counted 5, then 10, then forgot to count it all. The moon seemed closer now, wearing a soft ring like a scarf. The engine lowered its voice and the car grew warmer. Mia's shoulders felt light, as if someone had taken a small backpack of thoughts and set it quietly on the floor. They drifted past the sleepy lighthouse, which did not warn of danger but welcomed rest. Its beam moved slowly, as if painting calm across the sky. At its base sat the seed grove. The engine sighed to a gentle stop, and the door opened like a yawn. The grove was filled with low, glowing bushes. On each bush grew small seeds that shone faintly, each one holding a tiny promise. A wooden sign read, Take what you need, share what you can. The ground felt like the soft side of a pillow. Mia and the fox stepped onto the path while the attendant waited nearby in easy silence. Mia cupped a few seeds in her palm. Each had a simple word written in light. One said quiet, another said soft, another said safe. The fox gathered seeds named home and warm for his brother. When Mia breathed on the seeds, they tinkled like little bells and grew just enough to be felt. Not heavy, only there. How do they work? Mia asked. Plant them with a wish, the attendant said. Water them with a slow breath. Wait, and they will bloom into rest. Mia nodded, feeling a calm pride spread through her chest, as if she had already learned a kind secret. They walked deeper into the grove. A tiny fountain whispered as it fell into a bowl of stone. A moth drifted past like a floating petal. The trees above moved only a little, as if they were careful not to wake anyone. Mia picked one more seed. It said gentle night. She held it to her ear, and it hummed like the quiet between heartbeats. They returned to the car, and the train set off once more. The wheels hummed their hush-hush song. The lights dimmed again, softer than before. The moon rode higher, patient and bright. Mia tucked the seeds into her pocket, and they warmed her like friendly pebbles gathered at the beach. The fox rested his chin on the window ledge and watched the lighthouse beam grow small and kind and far. The attendant brought a small book with thick pages. It held no words, only soft shades of blue and gold. You may read the colors, they said. Blue says slow, gold says safe. Mia turned the pages and let the colors speak. Her breath followed them without trying. The book closed itself when it knew she had heard enough, and went back to rest on the tray like a sleeping bird. Before Mia put the book down, she slid a seed between its pages and pressed it there for a moment. When she took it out again, it glowed a little brighter, as if it had learned a new word. Stay. The fox smiled at that and tucked his own seeds inside his scarf where they would not be lonely. The train curved toward a soft horizon, and everyone in the car grew a little quieter. At last, the track widened and curved to a hill of feather grass. The sign outside the window said, Dream Meadow. The doors opened to a field that glowed like morning, though it was still night. The grass nodded as if greeting old friends. The air smelled of new pages and clean sheets, and far away a bell chimed the way a heart does when it is happy. Children from many towns stepped softly onto the field, each with a small pouch of seeds. They spoke in whispers that sounded like streams talking to stones. Mia and the fox found a quiet patch and knelt. Together they pressed their seeds into the soil and closed their eyes. Mia breathed in for 4, held for 4, and let the breath go like a kite string. The ground answered with a small, friendly hum. Tiny sprouts rose, carrying little lights. They opened like eyes becoming heavy, then lighter, then heavy again. The fox laughed without sound, his whiskers smiling. Do you think my brother will sleep? He asked. Yes, Mia said, because you will bring him home a path he already knows. The fox nodded and let his paws rest in the grass as if it were a warm lake. Around them, other children planted hopes that glowed in simple words. Kind, rest home, always. A gentle wind moved through the meadow and the light swayed as if they were breathing together. A song rose, made of nothing but air and time. The kind of music that happens when everyone is safe at once. Mia felt the song settle in her bones. A guide with silver hair and bare feet walked by and smiled. You have planted well, they said. When you return home, breathe like you breathed here. The meadow remembers, and it will find you. Mia listened hard so she would not forget. She pressed her hand to the ground and felt a pulse, slow and even, like a sleeping drum. The fox closed his eyes and pressed one ear to the soil. He heard a sound like a tiny door opening and closing. opening and closing, always gentle. He looked at Mia and whispered, "It is the sound of staying." Mia whispered back, "Yes, and it is the sound of letting go, too." They both smiled, and for a long moment nothing moved but the grass and their easy breaths. When they stood, the meadow gave each of them a soft ribbon of light, just long enough to tie around a wrist. It was not a thing to keep, but a gentle reminder. "If you forget, the ribbon will loosen and point the way back," the guide said. Mia tied hers loosely, the way you tie a promise so it can still breathe. The fox tucked his under his scarf and grinned, and the bell far away chimed once more, like a goodnight kiss tossed across a room. Soon it was time to go. The engine called in its quiet voice, and the children returned to the cars, carrying nothing they could drop and everything they needed. The meadow faded like a smile at the edge of sleep. The train slid down the silver track, through the cloud orchard, over the night river, past the sleepy lighthouse, and into the soft, familiar dark above the village. Mia leaned back and let her eyelids float down. She pictured the seeds under the meadow growing slow and steady, the way roots do, the way love does. The fox tucked his scarf and curled like a comma, complete and small. The attendant placed a soft blanket across Mia's knees, and the window dimmed until it was only a kind shadow. The wheels sang their hush-hush song, and the car answered with a whisper of yes, yes. The train came to rest at the little garden station. The door opened like a sigh. Mia stepped onto the grass, warm now with the first idea of dawn. The silver track drew in upon itself and became the pale line of a snail's trail along the hedge. The station folded into a dewdrop, and the bell kept its last chime for morning birds. The cat on the fence stretched and blinked and decided, kindly, that it would sleep a little more. Mia slipped back into bed. The room was quiet, the good kind of quiet that feels full, not empty. She put a hand over her heart and felt an answer, slow and sure. Sleep found her easily then, like a friend who knows the path by memory. And if, in the deep of night, a soft whistle drifted through the village, it was only the hush, carrying gentle things to children who listened. Far away, in a small den, the fox's brother curled against a scarf that smelled like stars. In another town, a child held a ribbon of light and breathed like the meadow taught. In Mia's house, the clock kept time with the rhythm of her calm breath. The moon slid behind a cloud and rested, and the world rested with it, safe and warm, all the way until morning. When sunrise finally touched the roofs, it did not hurry. It stepped softly, the way a parent walks through a room where a child is sleeping. Light found the window, kissed the curtain, and rested on Mia's cheek. She smiled in her sleep and turned her face toward it. Somewhere, faint and sweet, a bell chimed once, not to wake her, only to say, "I am here when you need me." The hush train waited in the wide morning sky where only dreams can see, ready for the next night, ready for the next quiet wish, patient and kind.